cars ready for the off in the third and final low-cost race of the weekend. This time it's Matthew Brooks and Richard Bradley on the front row. Danny Andrew and Tom Collar, the two winners from the previous races, are on the second row of the grid. And it's Tom Collar, who won yesterday, that makes a very good start indeed. He is trying to go around the outside of Richard Bradley, who was on the outside of the front row, so he's already up to third place. It looks like Matthew Brooks has got the lead, and in second place I think is Danny Andrew. Then it looks like Tom Collar third and Richard Bradley fourth is how this is shaking up on the run up towards Druids for the first time. Again, it's a 13 minutes plus 1 lap race. Watch out for Thomas Robinson, by the way. He is well worth keeping an eye on. He finished second in yesterday's race. He's in the yellow number 9 car, and he starts on the 9th row of the grid, so let's see if he can repeat yesterday's feat of climbing up the order. The podium finisher yesterday was Martin Wellard, as the leaders almost side by side coming into Surtees this time. Danny Andrew with the 27 car, who won this morning, had the inside line, but for the moment at least it's Brooks that holds on, with the orange and grey car of Tom Collar in third position. Richard Bradley, it is in fourth spot, having squandered that front row start, and he now is coming under a little bit of pressure as well. Look at this, 3 of them side by side for the lead of the race though, into Paddock Hill Bend for the second time. Brooks concedes, I think, and it's going to be Andrew and Collar then that go side by side, and Collar's done it around the outside at Paddock Hill Bend. Fantastic stuff. Tom Collar from Canterbury in car number 13 then leads the way in this low-cost race, the third and final one of the weekend. Can he repeat his victory of yesterday, or has Danny Andrew got an answer? Problems, I'm afraid, for number 50, and that's Sean Hooson. Having problems, and I think he's going to pull into retirement. Someone having a moment there, and I think that's number 9, Thomas Robinson, who was climbing up the field from row 9 of the grid. As I mentioned, he got up to P2 yesterday, and that's a bit of a setback for him, as we now look at James Millman and Gary Brandon in the 56 car as well, which is that of Matthew Booth. He started the race on row 5 of the grid, finished 5th in yesterday's race. He's in the white car at the back of this group. Now Millman has Brandon trying to go around the outside of him. That leaves the door open for Booth on the inside line. Tim Penstone Smith, you could see in that familiar white and pink car, a little bit further back down the order. There's been no change there among that 3. The yellow flag being waved a little bit further on, so someone has either gone off or pulled off just around the corner. It's an orange car. I wonder if that could possibly be David Jones that's had a moment. Spots of rain now, so this is really going to put the cat amongst the pigeons, isn't it? A change in conditions during the course of this race. I don't think it's amounting to very much so far, but it's going to make the race just that little bit more interesting. There's number 60 then, Richard Bradley from Spilsby in Lincolnshire, started on the front row of the grid in 5th position at the moment. As we can see further up the field, Danny Andrew and Tom Collar doing battle. You can see Sian Stafford Atkinson's pit board being shown to her there. She was in 16th position. There go the top 2 again into that yellow flag zone, down towards Graham Hill Bend. Screech of tyres there. Sian Stafford Atkinson, there's a bit of contact there. 21 spins around. That's Ryan Munt, and that was after being attacked, I'm afraid, by number 69 Gregory Smith. And it's Smith that's ended up beached in the gravel trap up at Druids. So the race is over for the man from Crowthorne. Munt was able to continue after a delay though. So Matthew Brooks here, who was right up at the sharp end, doing battle with number 22 now, which is James McAllister. Lee Bankhurst is involved as well, and Richard Bradley. That's 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th positions together. There's a gap back to the 7th place man. Brooks losing a little bit more ground, so it's, I think, McAllister that's now gone up to P3, Bradley to 4th. McAllister started on the 5th row of the grid, so he's had a good opening few laps of the race into this caution zone once again. That stationary car on the exit of the corner. So the leaders are getting away. But 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th still being disputed. Looks like James Millman in the background is 7th. 8th still looks to be that white car number 56 Matthew Booth. Gary Brandon A drop behind him now. So through clearways, see different lines being taken by the drivers. And that's not the right line being taken by James McAllister, number 22, I'm afraid. You don't want to be going through the gravel at Clark Curve, but that's exactly what he's done, and he's lost, I think, 5 places now, as Matthew Booth, number 56, he's lost 6 or 7 places now because Gary Brandon and someone else nips through as well. So that was a costly mistake there by James McAllister, number 22. And from Glossop has a bit of work to do to try and reclaim some lost ground as we go back to the leaders then, and it's Danny Andrew ahead of Tom Collar now. So they've been chopping and changing, these two, but there's still a little bit of time to go in this race. There's Ryan Munt on his recovery drive, also involved is number 11, and I think number 30 that is as well, Kevin Wernham, 11 being Victoria Baldwin. She now is, after her recent marriage. More problems and more yellow flags on the exit of Druids. And look at the leaders now, they're absolutely together again as they come across the line to start another lap. The door being left open there by Danny Andrew to allow Tom Collar through on the inside, and Collar's able to go through at Paddock Hill Bend. But we've seen low cost racing many times before, and you don't necessarily want to be leading going into the final lap. Someone's lost the nose section of their low cost. These cars powered by 1300cc Ford Crossflow engines. Is that Thomas Robinson making his way up the order? Yes, I think it is, in the number 9 car. The number plate dislodged on the front after that spin he had in the early stages of the race, but he's going very well indeed, making up a lot of ground. Still these spots of rain on the camera lens here at Brands Hatch then. Conditions just a little bit more tricky than they were. Matthew Brooks is about to come under pressure from Thomas Robinson then. I think we've got the Jim Rainbird car. Jim was a retirement from his first race this morning. Robinson to the outside of Brooks then at Paddock Hill Bend. Brooks holds on for the moment. Robinson is going to go to the right hand side, but Brooks has that line covered, so Robinson to the outside as they go to Druids, and he's done it. Brilliant stuff around the outside. Seems preoccupied with defending one line, but Robinson sees the opportunity to take another and go around the outside of him. So Robinson up another place, and James Millman is going to be the next driver that he comes across. I think that's going to be for 6th position therefore. Tim Penstone Smith, number 47, the driver from Welwyn Garden City. John Stafford Atkinson also in that group of cars as well. This is a bit further back down the order, outside the top 10. Ernie Gushlow is at the front of that group in the number 67 car. Past that debris that we saw a little bit earlier on. John Stafford Atkinson trying to make up some ground there. Side by side with the number 44 car, which is Peter Coveney, into Paddock Hill Bend, but actually Coveney makes a good move on the inside there to get ahead of Tim Penstone Smith, which, considering he's got the novice cross on the back of his car, is not too bad. Penstone Smith ends up on the grass as a result of all of that. On his final lap then, Danny Andrew has managed to get away from Tom Collar here. Up to the line he's going to come now to take the checkered flag for a second victory today in the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Locost Championship. Second place going the way of Tom Collar. Who's going to be third? Well, it's Tom Robinson, quite a distance back in the end. Still battles raging on. This is for 6th position, the final place in the top 6, and it's just going to be Matthew Brooks that holds on to it, just ahead of James Millman and Jim Rainbird. So let's have a look at the results then. The win, 1.73 seconds the margin for Danny Andrew over Tom Collar. Thomas Robinson, a great drive from row 9 to take 3rd place. Bankhurst, Bradley and Brooks complete the top 6. Further back, completing the top 10, was Matthew Booth. Tom Collar didn't win, but he did get fastest lap. Okay, Danny, another win, a great way to finish the day and the weekend at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, hopefully Snett and the rest of the scene will be the same. A little bit disappointed that me and Tom couldn't finish the race properly, because I think it would have been a real close finish, but I'd rather take the win than risk it with Tom, so no, over the moon with that.
from your own point of view, was there any dramas during the course of that race?
Other than about 4 or 5 laps from the end, somebody dropped a load of coolant in Surtees, which made it a little bit of an issue, but luckily I had enough gap to Tom. And in the first race I caught every back marker perfect. In that one I think I caught everyone most unperfect you could get, but luckily Tom had his problems for me, and I got a big enough gap.